Welcome to Session 2, Excel Solver, Data, Histograms, and Descriptive Statistics in BUS 450, Data Analysis for Managers. In Session 2, you'll read and review Chapters 28 to 42. You'll have discussion questions, and ground courses have in-class activity. You will use essential functions using Solver for various business problems, displaying data using descriptive statistics and histograms, and importing data, and complete your assignment. The Solver add-in is powerful and a useful tool in Excel, which performs calculations to give the optimal solutions that meet a specified criteria. You will need to install Solver as an add-in, and to do that, you click on File or Office button and then click Excel Options. You will then click on Add-ins on the left side and select Solver Add-in from the list and click the Go button. Add-in dialog boxes shows the list of add-ins, so select Solver and click OK. Now the Solver add-in has gotten installed into the Excel sheet. Tap on the Data tab on the extreme right and you can see the added Solver add-in as shown in our image below or on the next page. Here is a graphic of the Solver add-in. You can see the Data tab and you can see Solver clearly on the right side. Now here's an example of using Solver. See the Excel sheet in this graphic with some sample data in it. To find the profit percent, we use the formula profit percent equals double open parenthesis, which means that the operation should be performed in a specific order, selling price minus cost price, which first gets calculated, and then divided by cost price, so that component gets calculated first, and then we're multiplying that by 100. We can see in the example that there are three products, product A, B, and C, with a cost price, a selling price, and a profit percentage of respective products. If our target is to take the profit percent of product A to 20%, we need to find out the cost price and selling price values of product A needed to make the profit 20. We also have the constraint that cost price should be greater than or equal to 16,000 and selling price should be equal to or greater than 22. So we need to list down the below information based on the example that we take. The target cell, or B5, is the profit percent. The variable cells for product A are B3, which is the cost price, and B4, the selling price. And our constraints, B3 needs to be greater than or equal to 16,000 and B4 less than or equal to 22,000. We need a formula used to calculate the profit percent, which, as I said earlier, is the selling price minus the cost divided by the cost price multiplied by 100 and a target value of 20. So we place that formula in the target cell, which is B5, to calculate the profit percent. This is the required information that we need to solve any sort of equation using the Solver add-in in Excel. Now you'll launch the Solver add-in by clicking on the Data tab and clicking on Solver, just as we had done earlier. Step 1, you'll specify the target cell as B5, value of as the targeted percent, which is 20. We'll specify the cells which have to be changed to meet the required profit percentage. In our case, it's B3, which is CP, and B4 SP, cost price, selling price, need to be specified as $B, $3 with a colon, $B, $4. By changing variable cells. So this is a specific range. Now, step 2, it's time to add our constraints. In our case, cost price, or B3, is greater than or equal to 16,000 and selling price is below or less than 22, equal to or less than 22,000. You'll click on the Add button and add constraints as follows. And you can use this GIF to view it in action. Once you've entered all of the required data, you click on the Solve button, and it will ask whether you want to keep the Solver solution along with some options. Select based on your specific requirement and click the OK button. You will see that the latest cost price and selling price has been changed to $17,708 and $21,250 respectively to get to that 20% profit price. This session we will also work on histograms, and this guide will help you create one. You can use a histogram to organize and display data in a user-friendly format. The histogram will make it easy to see where the majority of values fall in a measurement scale and how much variation there is. In statistics, we have something called descriptive data, and this text will help you create descriptive data in Excel. We have the mean, which shows the arithmetic mean of the sample data, and the standard error, which will show the standard error of the data set. This is a measure of the difference between the predicted value and the actual value. And we have median, which shows the middle value of the data set, the value that separates the largest half of the values from the smaller half of the values. And of course, mode, which shows the most common value in the data set. We move on to standard deviation, which shows the sample standard deviation measure for the data set, and sample variance, which shows the sample variance for the data set, which is the squared standard deviation, essentially standard deviation squared. And we have kurtosis, which shows the kurtosis of the distribution, and skewness, how the data set distributes or skews. We also have the range, which shows the difference between the largest and the smallest values in the data set, and minimum, which shows the smallest value in the data set with maximum showing the largest. We also have sum, which adds all of the values in the data set together to calculate the sum, and count, which counts the number of values in a data set. We have largest x, which shows the largest x value in the data set, and smallest x, which shows the smallest value in the data set. And finally, we have confidence level x percentage, which shows the confidence level at a given percentage for the data set values. Now here's an example. In column A, the worksheet shows the suggested retail price, and in column B, the worksheet shows the units sold of each book through one popular book-selling outlet. You might choose to use descriptive statistics to summarize this data set. To do that, you click the Data tab's Data Analysis command button to tell Excel that you want to calculate descriptive statistics. And in the Data Analysis dialog box, highlight Descriptive Statistics Entry in the Analysis tool list and click OK. In the Input section of Descriptives, identify the data you want to describe, and to identify you want to describe statistically, click the Input Range text box and then enter the worksheet range reference for the data. In the case of the example worksheet, our reference is $A, $1 with a colon, $C, $38. Note that Excel wants the range address to use absolute references, hence the $signs. To identify whether the data is arranged in columns or rows, select either the column or row radio button and indicate whether the first row holds the label that describes the data. Select the Labels in First Row checkbox. In the case of the example worksheet, the data is arranged in columns and the first row does hold labels, so you would select the column radio button and the Labels in First Row checkbox. In the Output Options area of the Descriptive Statistics dialog box, describe where and how Excel should produce the stats. To indicate where Excel calculates the ranges should be placed, choose from the three radio buttons: Output Range, New Worksheet, and New Workbook. Typically, you place the stats onto a new worksheet in the existing workbook, and to do that, you simply select the New Worksheet radio button. To identify what stats measures you want calculated, use the Output Options checkboxes. I would select Summary Statistics checkbox to tell Excel to calculate statistical measures like mean, median, mode, and standard deviation. These are generally measures of central tendency. Select the confidence level for mean checkbox to specify that you want a confidence level calculated for the sample mean. And note that if you calculate a confidence level for the sample mean, you need to enter the confidence level percentage into the text box provided and use the K largest and K smallest checkboxes to indicate that you want to find the largest or smallest value in the data set. After you describe where the data is and how the stats should be calculated, click OK. And here are the statistics that Excel calculates. Here is a new worksheet with the descriptive statistics calculated for you. Thank you for watching Session 2, and if you have any questions, I look forward to addressing them in class.